They're gonna wonder how much drugs we took, Mike, but it's all G. Yeah, sweet.
Start talking shit?
Yeah, start fucking rambling, mate.
Fuck. Skating had died. Our park had been bulldozed, Skatopia, in Auckland. Friend Shane Munden, he showed me the first issue of Transworld. And he goes, look at this, they're building ramps out of wood. So me and him built one of them in my mum's backyard. Rickety piece of shit, like Homer Simpson's spice rack or something. But it worked. And then one of our mates comes back from Wellington, tells us about this guy Gregor, said that it's the raddest shit you've ever seen. We're really grabbing cavemen, swamp trogs, you know. And he goes, these guys, like this guy Gregor does 6-foot methods and stuff. I'm like,
is this in Nainai?
Nainai in Lower Hutt, Wellington. Yeah. And we decided to go down there on the roadie, a bunch of us. Like.
It started long ago, in a land far away. Island people had something to say. Take your brain, put it here. I'll eat that and drink your beer. Part-time animal, full-time cannibal. I'm not crazy, he's insane. Lee Ralph will eat your brain in a bucket or cup. Eat it up. Skull cap salad. Eat it up.
First of all, my memory's totally fucked. Me and Spittle hitched to Wellington. We'd halfway through the night, and it was torture, 12 hours of torture, but we finally got there and we'd skate Gregor Rankine's ramp.
They had a 4-sheet wide vert ramp, 9 foot high, foot of vert, and they cut a channel in it. Not a rolling channel, just got a power saw out and cut a hole, bit of plywood there for a deck. And they're doing channel plants and shit.
No way.
It's like, what the fuck next? You know, we couldn't even, me and the rest of the boys, we're just learning inverts. Oh, no, but we're way behind. And Gregor's doing our aerials over the channel.
It was funny days back then, man. Like, we pretty much would skate the ramp all day. And then at night, we'd go and have tic-tac races. That was our version of street skating, because there was no street skating back then. So they'd do stints where they'd come up and stay for a week or a couple of weeks, and they'd skate and then they'd go back down. And you gotta remember there's so many different sort of eras, you know. There was like Spittle's ramp, so that was one, and then we had the Remuera ramp, and then we had Okura. You know, at different times, you know, you'd see them and pop up and things like that, yeah. Gregor was the mentor and the shredder at that time, you know. He was the Gregor demo, because he was pretty much the best dude in the country by far, and you know. Lee was definitely good, and you could tell he was getting better and better every skate, you know, but he wasn't, you know, the Lee we know.
They call themselves the Rad Magians. Gregor's training them up, and we call Gregor Rankine the machine. It was insane, bro.
I wanted to be the best, and I thought I was going to be the best in New Zealand, you know. And then I met him and I was like, fuck, I don't know if I can be better than this guy. I really don't. He was hitting 5-foot backside airs in 1980. Pros weren't going, you know, Dwayne Peter, so no one was going that high. Billy Ruff and shit. It was nuts. And I knew that. I was actually looking at magazines like this and just going and then going, his ears are higher. I had never seen anybody like that in real life skate. And then he went to America and came back, and he was twice as good when he got back. There's just one place that you want to be, bro, and it's the only place that lives in the skateboard world, and it's America. They fucking owned that sport. And since I wasn't there and I couldn't be there, he just brought it to me. You know, he gave it to me on a platter, silver service. Here you go, Ralphie. Here's America. You know, the only reason I had the balls to move from rugby and bull rush and athletics at school and all of that is really him.
Having Gregor there to sort of have as a benchmark, just skating, and power and style, probably one of the best styles ever. Lee went, pfft, and then he just fucking got on a board and did his shit. That's where you get it from, because fucking Gregor was amazing. If you happen to see Gregor Rankine skate, you were honoured.
Each time he came back, new tricks that I couldn't actually believe when I saw them. Like when he'd say to me, Ralphie, wait till you see me do this. Feeds me up with this new information about tricks, especially tricks. He tells me all these stories about how he's living in a caravan at the back of John Lucero's house, and he knows John Lucero's mum. You know, and I was fucking feeding on it really hard. I'm just going, yes! But he comes home, he's sponsored by Veriflex, and so I'm just feeling a bit left out of the picture, because I'm not sponsored by Veriflex, or anybody, no one. You know, I'm just a 9-eye guy who rides a ramp. He goes, we need to make like it, well, let's make a magazine, you know, and we just went, yes.
Definitely the best fanzine ever made, hands down. If you see one, you're lucky, and you should read it cover to cover, and then read it again, and then read it again. And it's the cult of Rad Magianism.
Rad Mag, how fucking stupid. And what I've realised now, bro, is he didn't need Rad Mag. He had Veriflex, he had Santa Cruz, he had legitimate, real people saying to him, come and ride for us. Why does he have to do these silly things off to the side and he's going to gain nothing from it? It's just he did it for me because I'm stuck in New Zealand and, you know, and I'm not sponsored by these people. I've never been this blown away, still to this day in my life, ever, by anything. It's not like he hadn't mentioned it, you know. We've been skating, he's like, oh, I can see it, you know. But he's the hardest man I know, so it's as if he's going to give into a fuck back. He goes, Ruffy, I've been to see the doctor, see this is where me and him part company for the first time. Fuck doctors. Who cares what they say? Especially one doctor, you know. It might be a spin doctor. And then I went, that's it. Yeah, it was one of the very first times I ever looked at him and went, he's not perfect. On the spot, it was all over, bro. My dream's gone. Everything gone. He is my future, you know? And I'm just like, it was horrible. And I probably said some ruthless shit to him. But I'm a little kid, you know what I mean? And do you know how hard it is to keep a dream alive by yourself? As if I'm gonna stop.
Let's go skate and destroy.
to skate and destroy. 7 back, skate and destroy. Pick up my skate and destroy. Not a cause of burglary, but it's something in my thinking. Maybe that's cool on me, at least I'm not a robot. Not afraid of things to read, and I won't allow my friends up. Say the shit, but people's minds is not what I was ever. The light, skate and destroy. Pass the jar to skate and destroy. 7 back, skate and destroy. Pick up my cops are coming after me, they're sons of BMXers. Always trying to stop me, but you're a Danish vest and boots. You may be in a parking lot, rolling up your contents. So what? Because I know I don't do it. Something good.
Appearance, hygiene, the Stobbart story.
You reckon?
Yeah. Great story.
Great story?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lee's always had some pretty wild looks over. Even from when he was 14, he had mohawks and skinheads. And by the time he was 17 or so, he had a massive beard, and he'd have a beard with a skinhead, and then the neck, the neck hair off the back. If he was driving and you were watching him from the back, you thought he was looking at you. If you just take out major, square meterage, major cubic meters of area, like you could take a whole house out and you'd know that he was in the house, right? Because you could smell like Ralphie, and my mum used to come down the drive sometimes if Lee was there, and mum just go, oh my God, Gregor, Lee's in the house, Lee's here. It's just like, you just take the whole house out, and the actual bedroom he was in was almost impenetrable, you go, whoa. Yeah, Lee didn't care, he's like, I don't care, he'll get round to washing when he feels like it, when he has a swim or something, Over the years, there's been certain times when Lee's come into some money, some decent money. He's got, a nice big royalty check. He's got $3,500 in his pocket, and then it sets in the problem of having that $3,500 in the pocket. It's just like, right, what am I going to do with this, And he's just like, right, half of it I'll give to mum. So he'd give half to his mum, right, now I've only got $1,800 or something. Shit, now what am I going to do with this, and pretty much the goal is to get rid of it on the day. And he'd just go out and buy a guitar. Well, the guitar's only worth $900, right, I'll buy 2, done. Stoked, not a cent on him, and he can start the next day from scratch. I was over in LA, and Peter Hill said to me, oh, Lee's going to come here. So I had a little hire car, and I went down to the airport, 9 o'clock, pick him up, and it didn't come out, I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting. I was pretty hungry, so I spotted this muffin shop across the street, right? And I just thought, if I go to that muffin shop and buy the muffin and then come back, there's no way he would have got out and left, because for sure he'll stand for a few minutes. So I just bolted off, got the muffin, came back, bang, no, he hasn't come out. And then I hung for another hour or more, maybe 2 hours. It's like, oh, well, I guess something went wrong, he didn't get on the plane. But what had happened was he just came out of the plane, surveyed the situation, within about 15, 20 seconds, very efficiently, and just went, I'm fucked, like there's no one here to pick me up, I'm basically doomed, and then just walked off, just barefoot, no bag, nothing, and just went, right, I've got a rough inkling where Lance Mountain lives, which is 45 minutes by car along the freeways, and so Lee just, hoofed it on the freeways And he turned up to Lance's house about 9 at night and just knocked on the door and, Lance answered the door. And Lee said, oh man, you wouldn't believe what I've been through today. But Salva, he's got his little routine, and this is pretty funny. Like, he's got this little routine where he does his push-ups or something. I've never really met Salva, but Lee was saying he does these little push-ups on the side of the bowl. Just a little routine he's got, and he's got a little hand towel and stuff that he uses to dry himself off, and that's over on the rail and all that. And Lee's just skating around, just sweating and just having a blast, and just pops out and he's just covered in sweat, and just all sweat and hair everywhere, and he just goes, man, he just looks for a t-shirt or something and just grabs a towel. It's Salva's hand towel or whatever, and just dries himself off, and he's halfway through just drying himself off, and just looks over there. Salva's just looking at him, Lee's just got just a towel under his arm. He's like, ooh.
Lindsay Knight. I mean, come on, let's have it straight, man to man. What sort of fucking name's that? Lindsay.